Alright, what's up guys? Calvin Quinton here. I'm 22 years old. We're in Miami right now, living it up. This changes the mode on the car. In your hotel. And this all wouldn't be possible unless it was for wholesaling real estate. Sounds good. I was able to buy one of these at 22 years old. Well, I just bought it about 2 weeks ago. It's a nice little pickup. One of probably 4 on my bucket list to get. I'm 1 for 4 right now. I want to get a McLaren, Lamborghini, and then a super stretch goal, maybe Bugatti, like when I'm like 30 or something. I probably could have bought this car about a year ago or 2 years ago, but I wanted to make sure I had the systems in place, the foundation, and we're finally in a place right now where I'm comfortably able to buy something like this, and it's beautiful. Look at it. Just so you guys don't think it's a rental, right? I had to put this on the side of the car because a lot of people think it's a rental. A lot of people in Miami, you know how the gurus are. People buy rentals all the time, so we had to let them know this isn't a rental right here. I don't know if you guys have been to Miami. C8s are a little played out. I moved here. This was a dream car of mine, and then it wasn't anymore because you see too many of these. For some reason, an all black C8 just looks different. It looks insanely different. Looks like a little McLaren or something, I don't know. But a couple of specs of the car, it's got all black rims right there. Gotta go all black, you can't have those silver rims or whatever color that is. Got the limo tints, or I think like 10%, whatever. You can't see through those. And it gives it that spaceship vibe. When you can see right through the car, it just kills the whole aesthetic of the car. Now, most C8s don't have a high wing. And at first, this was a deal breaker for me, until I realized most C8s don't have a high wing. And I like what people don't have. And it makes the car look a little different. And at nighttime, when you don't really know what kind of car this is, because the black just blends everything in, and then they see the high wing, they're like, oh shit, what is this? And they look at my car. But the high wing is growing on me because I don't see too many C8s with the high wing. That's pretty much it for the car. That's all the added on things. I think it's like $8,000 in add-ons with the rims, windows. It has a Z51 package in the front, engine lights. It has a new audio system, whatever, just basic stuff. Guys, instant gratification is real. Drove off the lot probably in a week. It was like I literally couldn't wait to wake up to look at the car, and in a week later I could care less about it, and I just want something better. Now it's time to get a better car, time to work for bigger and better things. Not gonna sell it, I'm gonna keep it for memories though, and I'll probably just fill up the driveway with nice cars, and it's gonna be the first one to my collection, and this one's probably gonna hold the dearest in my heart. Like this Rolex right here. It's not my favorite watch, it's the most expensive one I bought so far, but the most memorable one, my Movado 800. It was like $1,200, but that was the first one where I'm like, that's the one I'm gonna get first. So this is probably gonna be my most memorable car. Guys, right here, I've scraped this car so many times, not knowing how low this car is. So when you're going down like exits and ramps, you gotta just take it really slow. But it's my car, so I don't really care. And money isn't real, so if you gotta repair it, you just gotta pay the price, right? My number one goal, right? A lot of people think it was entrepreneurship. It was basketball, right? I was pursuing basketball my whole life, and I was obviously, like any basketball player, had aspirations of going to the NBA. I moved to Vegas at like 16 years old, away from my family, to go play for one of the top high schools in the nation. I was really taking it serious. I wanted to go play college basketball. And then when COVID came around, I'm class of 2021, so COVID came around. A lot more bumps in the road happened, but I'm not blaming COVID on the reason why I stopped playing basketball. It was more, I'm a pretty analytical thinker, and I looked at the statistics. I'm like, okay, I want to be a millionaire by the time I turn 21 years old, 22 years old, right? When you look at the stats, there's only about 11,000 millionaires that are athletes, but there's over 1 million millionaires that have made millions through being an entrepreneur, a real estate investor, a business owner. So when I'm doing the stats, I'm like, okay, there's less than a 0.001% chance of me making it to the NBA and me living this lifestyle. Or there's a way higher chance of me trying to start a business and being successful through that to live that lifestyle. And I didn't want to waste 4 years of trying college because I knew I wasn't going to get that lifestyle out of a degree. So I'm only in college to try to make it to the NBA for a 0.001% chance. I'm an analytical person, I'm statistical, so the best chances of me trying to get this lifestyle is through entrepreneurship. So I made that gut wrench decision. I just made that big decision where I knew it was gonna mess up my parents' head because 2 reasons, right? Most kids are facing that difficulty of dropping out because their parents want them to go to college. I was facing 2 things. My parents invested in my whole life to go play basketball in college. So when I quit basketball, that was already a punch in the gut to them. And like soon, like 2 weeks later, they were already like kind of mad. Like they were like really mad. We weren't even on talking terms really. And then 2 weeks later, I was broke, so I moved back home and I was living in the basement. 2 weeks later, I walked upstairs. I read one page of Rich Dad Poor Dad. This book, every entrepreneur reads Rich Dad Poor Dad. If you didn't read the book, I read one page of it, shut it, walked upstairs, and I said, I'm dropping out of college. My dad's a pretty traditional dad. I knew I was gonna get kicked out, but it was just fuck. It took me a lot to walk upstairs and say I'm done, and I knew it was coming. And the words he said was, you got like 4 or 5 days, get out the house and never come back, shit like that. And I was like, I wasn't mad. Like literally on the phone with my friends that night, just dinner laughing and shit. Like because the thing is, I knew that was gonna happen, and I knew I'm probably not gonna have a great relationship with my parents for like the next year or two. I'm not gonna get mad at my dad for him thinking college is the best route for me. I was never mad at my parents, or even I think my dad took it a little harder than my stepmom, but yeah, that's where my entrepreneurship journey started. Is 19 years old, dropped out, and literally I didn't know I was getting into real estate. I just knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I think that's why my parents were a little more mad too, is because they were like, well, what are you gonna do? You know how parents are, they're always asking questions and shit. And us kids, we may not have it figured out yet. And these parents start out of all the cortisol raising in their blood, they start asking all these questions. What are you gonna do? What if the IRS, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, bro, who's even thinking about that shit right now? But they're asking all that shit, and I'm like literally just saying, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur. I don't know what it's gonna be. I don't know what yet, but I'm gonna be a millionaire. And I get it. Like, your son that just quit basketball, quit college, is working at a sushi, like being a sushi server right now. It just doesn't look good. So I totally understand their concerns. Not mad about their concerns at all. My parents are obviously proud of me, and I think because all parents, and obviously just everybody's skeptical. It doesn't matter how much money you're making. It doesn't matter what the amount is. A lot of people their only outlook on your success is the materialism stuff, right? And what you can show for it. For 3 years straight in my entrepreneurship journey, guys, I have a Corvette CS. This is a poverty car in Miami, right? Literally a poverty car. Like, I haven't splurged on myself in 3 years. I had my first $100,000 month 2 years ago, and I still have yet to splurge on myself. So for a while, even when I was making a lot of money, I don't think my parents really believed it too much. But now they're starting to be like, oh, okay, this, like, he can't just live in Miami, just buy a nice car if he's not doing good for himself. So now I feel like they're a little more happy for me and a little less worried. Obviously, you know how moms are. They're always worried about you. Guys, hopefully, it's like 1 a.m. right now. Last time I was at this parking lot, it was like 8. So if the cops might come up, it's whatever. We'll get good content. But I think we should be fine for the next 30 minutes. We're going to go up to the garage, get some more cool content to be continued with the story. All right, y'all, welcome to the rooftop. We're in downtown Miami right now. This is a Publix parking lot. This is the grocery store parking lot. I don't know why it's still lit. You would think this would be a lot more secured off, but who cares? Getting good content early. Hello. Let's see. Can I film up here real quick? Hold on, don't film it too much. We gotta leave? Alright. Alright, come on, bro. Oh my god. Alright, so we're gonna find a new spot. Apparently it's closed, right? Yeah. So where were we at in the story? So I was given 4-day notice to kind of leave. Now, obviously, are my parents that harsh? No. If I couldn't find a place in 4 days, they might have let me stay. But it was really urgent. I had to leave the house. So fast forward, I figured out a place to live. A lot of places were denying me because I didn't have proof of income. Couldn't show 3 times the rent. But these landlords kind of gave me a chance, and I told them my situation. They were like, cool, you would stay as long as you start paying like double the rent. But my story starts at Mattress Firm, guys. My first like real career job. Like, I was at Mattress Firm about 1.5 years. Making, like, being a salesman selling mattresses. That was like my job. I've had hella jobs other than that, but that was like my real first job where I was clocking in and I had coworkers and stuff. But Shout out to Mattress Firm, one of the best jobs ever. It helped me kind of understand what sales was, and it gave me the time, because I was the only one in the store, it gave me literally the time to build my wholesale business. I only saw 1 to 2 customers a day, and I literally got to cold call, talk to sellers, talk to agents all day long for 10 hours a day. And my shifts were 10 to 11 hour shifts, 6 days a week. So I was working about 60 hours a week. Not bad. And I was making $11 an hour. Now, we'll fast forward a little bit. Time goes by, wholesaling business, it's going okay. I did my first deal. Doesn't mean my wholesale business is consistent. I was struggling a lot. It was hard for me to stay consistent. I was falling off with business partners, and it was hard for me to leave Mattress Firm because I just couldn't afford to live. And for me, I had to take a risk on myself. I was at Mattress Firm for a year, and I was like, nothing's changing. I'm not getting that huge advance in my business that I'm looking for, and I decided to take a risk on myself. And this is my justification on how my business really took off right here, guys. I was trying to do everything so cheap in my business while at Mattress Firm, and I realized I couldn't do that anymore, and I realized I couldn't have these chains on my life that was tying me to a job. Even though I had all the time in the world, I still felt like a slave, where I was like, fuck, I'm not free. I'm not a real business owner. I gotta take the risk on myself. So I looked at my credit card limit, and I was like, okay, I have $10,000 in credit, and I'm gonna quit my job. Most people quit their jobs when they get results in their business. I quit my job to get results in my business. So I took the risk on myself and put my 2-week notice in, and I was living off my credit cards for that whole year. And it was the best decision I've ever made. And I would say I didn't achieve instant success, but I started investing in my business. I started getting results. And I would say I was racking up a lot of credit card debt up to 8 months, where I was like, 1 more month, I'd probably have to get another job. That doesn't seem so bad, right? Most people get in student loan debt, $100,000, $80,000, $50,000, whatever it is, for something they don't even want to do. My worst case scenario was getting another job and paying off $10,000 of student loan debt. And I got to learn everything about myself. I got to learn skills, have a story, and it was the best investment ever. A lot of people think investing $10,000 in your business or getting $10,000 of debt is bad. It's really not. People get into hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt for shit they don't even want and don't even want to do. Month 8, I was really strapped, maybe $9 grand in debt, and my business just took off, literally took off. Deals started flowing. I was staying the path and just trusting the business, trusting the journey, trusting what I was putting down in my notebook, that I'm gonna be rich, I'm gonna have all this. If you gotta be kind of, like I said, you gotta be delusional, bro. You gotta be literally delusional. That's what it was. So everything started flowing in, deals started coming through. I started having a lot of closings, and I was able to pay my debt off, and I bought more time, and I was able to meet the right people and met my first business partner. We grew this wholesale business, and I had my first $100,000 month with them, probably the 3rd month I met them. And that's where everything really took off for me from there. And that's when I turned 20 years old or 21 years old. How to operate 7-Eleven, you just gotta look at the deals, right? Usually right here, this is my go-to snack right here, the Muddy Buddies, but they're $4.50, right? You gotta be a businessman, you gotta spot out good deals. Usually, some days these are 2 for $5. We're not gonna get these today, so we're gonna look for a better deal. These are usually non-negotiable. I'll get a body armor every now and then. And let's see, I need some stems. I say stems, that means stimulants. I don't drink coffee, do caffeine, drugs, don't do any of that. These are stems right here. I don't need a coffee, I need this in the morning to get me going. Let's see. Manifestation, you gotta believe you have it before you have it already, right? That's a manifestation term. It's not even mine yet, but I know it's mine, so I'm gonna drink it because I know it's gonna be mine. That's the manifestation tip right there on a very small scale, guys. Look at that thing. That shit looks sexy. Too bad, it's if it was 11, every time I pull up here, it's usually some 18, 19-year-old kids asking to get in the car. That'd be cool for the content, but it's okay tonight. We got a different agenda for this video. Rewinding back, how I got my first wholesale deal, guys. Literally, I was, as every business owner, wearing all the hats. You gotta wear all the hats in the beginning. You're not gonna probably have a budget to hire everything out, nor you'll have the experience to hire everything out. So I was doing the cold calling myself, I was following up myself, doing the closing calls, finding the buyers. But how I got my first deal, really easy actually. It was like a walk in the park. That's why when people ask me how did it feel when I got my first deal, I didn't really have time to experience it because it happened so quick. Literally called the agent and just asked her, I made an offer on one of her properties, it didn't work out, asked her if she had any off markets. She said yeah, it was a duplex in Milwaukee, and she was like, these sellers want to move on it right away, do you have anybody that wants to walk it? So I called my buyer. His name's Keegan at the time. He was my future business partner as well, but he bought my first wholesale deal. I called Keegan. They walked it the day of. And guys, this is what I'm talking about with most wholesalers. They're always consumed up on, what about the title companies? How do I say this? How do I say this? And just analysis paralysis, asking all these questions that are unnecessary. Guys, I didn't even know what a contract was. I didn't even know what contract to use. I just knew how to connect the people together, and I knew how to get access to the knowledge. And I hit up Keegan and I was like, Keegan, I got this agent that has a deal. I need help. What do we do? He walked it. It was a go. The property worked out and the agent wasn't lying about the condition. And I told Keegan, I don't even know how to assign this deal to you. Can you help me do this first deal? Because I want to bring you more deals. He literally showed me everything. Guys, a lot of people, it's 2025, and for some reason, people are afraid to ask questions. Like, you don't need to know every single thing in a business before you start. I just told Keegan, I was like, bro, I don't know shit about wholesaling, and I don't even know how to do the contract. Can you help me out? And he helped me out. He showed me the ropes, and he cut me a check for $2,500. Now, I probably could have made $10,000 off of it, and he probably got a steal on the deal just because I didn't know shit. But $7,500 loss was well worth it because I learned the whole business, and I made hundreds of thousands of more dollars after that, just from that learning experience. But that's how my first deal went, and I just took off from there. Getting consistent deals every single month is the most impressive thing. That's how you look at the status of a business owner, how successful they are. If you don't have leads coming to your business every single month, you don't have a business. You may have a one-off deal. What I did with my first wholesale check, this is what me and my first partner did. We made a pact with ourselves saying every single dollar that comes in this business for like the first couple months is going back in the business, because we don't want to be those wholesalers to just be a one and done type of person, one and done type of business owner. So when that first $10,000 check came in, $10,000 went back in the business to get leads in the business. That was invested into virtual assistants, hiring out closers, where we can kind of get ourselves out of the business, and we start scaling really fast. And then the next month we did $30,000, $40,000. And guess what happened, guys? Not a single dollar touched my pocket, and all 40 grand went back in the business on growing the business. I don't think we took a single dollar out of the business to our personal pockets until it hit $150,000 a month. I feel like through all my experience so far, the best business advice I can give to somebody is delay your gratification. If you make $1, if you make $10,000 in your business, don't buy Rolex. Don't be like these Miami TikTokers and go all out on personal image. Invest this back into your business and get consistent revenue first, and really have a predictable business before you can do shit like this. So that's why it took me about 3 years to buy a Corvette, because I wanted to be in a place where my business is doing multiple six figures a month. And that only came with me really blitzing and investing back into my business every single month, the money that was coming in. Now we're here, it's 2025, guys. I'm 22 years old, and I bought my first car on my bucket list. My goal is to buy probably like a McLaren or a Lamborghini in the next 3 to 6 months. I'm debating on buying a house out here first, because you guys know how high rises work. I don't have many parking spots, so I'm gonna have to figure out my car situation, because I already have 2 cars, and if I want another car, I'm probably gonna have to buy a house and fill the driveway up. So maybe I'll buy a house first and then a car. We'll see. We'll see what comes first in the video. Anything's possible, guys. I'm only 22. You don't need anything special in your life. You just need to know how to take action and just have a motor on you. If you have a motor, you're gonna make money. Like, I'm telling you, you can be smart, you can get intelligent, but you can't teach somebody to have a motor. Like, I've seen the smartest guys be super lazy and they don't have that go-getter attitude. If you know how to go after something and you know how to get it and just have that motor on you, watch a lot of Kobe Bryant videos, watch Floyd Mayweather. So that's my advice for you guys. Hopefully you guys can do some deals with me. Wholesaling real estate isn't the only way out. For me, it was. It's a great foundation to get into other businesses, which I'm now in a bunch of other businesses. And a lot of things in the home service industry, roofing, solar, just marketing in general. Wholesaling should never be your end goal. It should be a foundation that gets you into another thing, because wholesaling is like today money. And I took all the capital from wholesaling and the connections I made from wholesaling, and I was able to expand it, and where I'm making a bunch of money, where I was able to make a bunch of money in other things. That's my inspiration for you guys. Hopefully this video is not too long, and I hope everybody's successful. And if you guys want to learn real estate, you guys want to work with me, hit the link below in the description. I'll help you guys out. I don't know if I'm going full guru yet. I'll go semi-Miami guru. I'll help a few people out in a mentorship, but I'm not gonna go full guru yet. Might be in like a year or two. I'm really busy. I have 450 employees, guys, so I get pretty busy. But if you wanna apply to work with me one-on-one, I will help a few people out. So hit the link in the bio and you can apply to work with me one-on-one. Peace.